The silver disk of the alien ship hung over Washington, D.C. like a mirror in the sky. It had been 3 days since it appeared, and the world still held its breath. Military jets circled at a respectful distance. On the ground, a temporary landing zone had been set up on the National Mall. Captain Susan Blackwell adjusted her uniform one last time before stepping onto the platform. Beside her, diplomat Frank Martinez nodded encouragingly. "Ready?" he asked. "As ready as anyone can be to meet aliens," Susan replied. A beam of blue light shot down from the ship. When it faded, 3 figures stood on the platform. The tallest had blue-gray skin and 4 arms. His large eyes blinked slowly as he surveyed the humans gathered before him. "I am High Counselor Zix Tar of the Galactic Council," the alien said in perfect English. "We bring greetings from the 47 sentient species of our Federation." Frank stepped forward. "On behalf of Earth and humanity, we welcome you. I am Frank Martinez, Chief Diplomat of the United Nations. And I am Captain Susan Blackwell, representing Earth's Defense Forces," Susan added. Zix Tar's mouth formed what might have been a smile. "We have watched your species for some time. Your recent development of faster-than-light travel has qualified Earth for consideration as a probationary member of our council." The news spread quickly across the globe. Within 24 hours, the United Nations called an emergency session. Susan and Frank found themselves in a large meeting room with Zix Tar and his assistants. "The benefits of council membership are many," Zix Tar explained as holographic images appeared above the table. "Access to advanced technology, trade routes, and protection." "Protection from what?" asked Susan. Zix Tar's large eyes narrowed. "The Void Scourge. They emerge from the darkness between galaxies. 3 outer systems have already fallen." One of Zix Tar's assistants, a small reptilian creature, stepped forward. "Earth sits in a strategically valuable position. Your solar system would serve as an excellent buffer zone." Frank leaned forward. "And what would be expected of us in return for this protection?" "Minor concessions," Zix Tar said smoothly. "Resource quotas to support the Council fleet. Military restrictions to ensure compliance with Council directives. Population controls to maintain sustainability." Susan felt her face grow hot. "Population controls." "Nothing severe," the alien assured her. "A mere 30% reduction over 50 years. Later, in a private room, Earth's leaders gathered to discuss the offer. "They want to use us as a shield against this scourge," Susan said. The UN Secretary-General nodded grimly. "And take our resources while they're at it." Frank studied the documents the aliens had provided. "The technology they're offering is impressive, but these terms. We'd be second-class citizens in our own solar system," Susan finished. For 3 days, debates raged in the United Nations. Some nations wanted to accept, fearing the Void Scourge. Others refused to surrender Earth's sovereignty. On the 4th day, Frank Martinez faced Zix Tar in the Grand Chamber of the UN. "After careful consideration of your generous offer," Frank began, his voice steady, "humanity has decided to decline membership at this time." A murmur ran through the alien delegation. Zix Tar's 4 hands clenched and unclenched. "This is unexpected," the alien said. "Perhaps you do not understand the danger the scourge represents." "We understand danger," Susan said, stepping forward. "We also understand freedom." "You would face the void alone?" asked the reptilian assistant, voice filled with disbelief. "If necessary," Frank replied. Zix Tar's eyes blinked rapidly. "No species has ever declined council membership." "Then perhaps it was time someone did," said the Secretary-General, joining them. The aliens departed the next day, their ship rising silently into the sky. As Susan watched them go, Frank stood beside her. "Do you think we made the right choice?" he asked. Susan nodded slowly. "I don't know what this Void Scourge is, but something tells me the Council isn't being entirely honest about it." "What now?" Frank asked. "Now," Susan said, looking up at the stars, "we prepare. On our terms. As the alien ship vanished into the darkness of space, none of the humans knew that their simple refusal had sent shockwaves through the Galactic Council, or that in chambers far away, the highest leaders of 47 species were suddenly very afraid. 5 years passed since Earth refused the Galactic Council's offer. The world had changed. New ships rose from shipyards built in orbit. New weapons were tested on the far side of the moon. Humanity prepared, united by a common purpose, survival on their own terms. In her office at the United Nations building, Secretary Alicia Warren looked out at the rain falling over New York. The communication had come an hour ago. Another alien ship was approaching Earth. "They're back sooner than we expected," said Defense Secretary Paul Harris. He stood by the window, hands clasped behind his back. "Do you think they've come to make the same offer?" Alicia asked. "Or to force us to accept it," Paul said grimly. The alien ship was smaller than the first, clearly a diplomatic vessel rather than a warship. It landed at the same site on the National Mall where Zixtar had first set foot on Earth. This time, only one alien emerged from the ship. He was not of Zixtar's species, but shorter with golden skin that seemed to shimmer in the sunlight. "I am Kellamore, senior diplomat of the Galactic Council," he announced to the waiting Earth officials. "I bring urgent news." In a secure conference room, Kellamore faced Alicia Warren and Paul Harris. The alien's fingers tapped nervously on the table. "The Void Scourge has accelerated its advance," Kellamore said. 3 council worlds have fallen in the past Earth year." He activated a device that projected a map of the galaxy. Red dots marked the destroyed worlds, spreading like a disease across the stars. "Our forces are stretched thin," Kellamore continued. "And I must inform you that Earth lies directly in the Scourge's path." Paul leaned forward. "So you've come to warn us, or to say I told you so." Kelmore's golden skin darkened slightly. "I've come with a revised offer. The Council recognizes Earth's desire for autonomy. We no longer require population controls or full resource quotas. We ask only for your assistance in fighting the Scourge." "And in return?" Alicia asked. "We share our defense technology," Kellamore said. "Earth becomes a protected ally rather than a member state." "May we examine the data you have on the Scourge?" Paul asked. Kellamore hesitated, then nodded. "I am authorized to share certain information." For 3 days, Earth's best scientists studied the data while Kellamore waited. Dr. Laura Bennett led the analysis team. On the 4th day, she requested a meeting with Secretary Warren. "There's something strange in these attack patterns," Laura explained, showing a series of calculations. "The Scourge isn't attacking randomly. There's a pattern the Council hasn't recognized." "What kind of pattern?" Alicia asked. "The Scourge only attacks systems with specific energy signatures, signatures that match Council technology." Paul Harris studied the data. "So if we don't use Council tech, the Scourge might ignore us completely," Laura finished. Later that day, Alicia and Paul met with Kellamore. "We appreciate your warning," Alicia said carefully, "but Earth has decided to face this threat independently." Kelmore's eyes widened. "That is madness. No single world can stand against the Void Scourge." "Perhaps not in the way you imagine," Paul replied. "At least accept evacuation assistance," Kellamore pleaded. "We can relocate your key populations deeper into Council space." "Our answer is still no," Alicia said firmly. "But thank you for the information. It has been illuminating." After Kellamore departed, his ship rising into the clouds, Alicia looked at Paul. "Are we making a mistake?" she asked. Paul shook his head. "Dr. Bennett is certain. The Council doesn't understand what they're fighting. They've been using the same approaches for too long. And if she's wrong, then humanity falls alone, on its feet, rather than cowering behind the Council." Alicia nodded slowly. "Get me the Joint Chiefs. We need to accelerate the Earth Defense Project." As night fell over Earth, billions of people went about their lives, unaware that in the darkness between stars, the Void Scourge continued its relentless advance, and that their leaders had just made a decision that would change the fate of the galaxy. 2 years passed in a blur of activity. The skies above Earth buzzed with construction ships. Massive space stations took shape, unlike anything seen before. They did not use the bright energy cores typical of Council technology. Instead, they ran on systems designed by Dr. Laura Bennett and Dr. Gregory Patel. "The new shields are ready for testing," Gregory said, pointing to the screen in the lunar base control room. Laura nodded, her eyes tired but determined. "Let's see if our theory holds." On the screen, a small test drone floated in space. It emitted the same energy signature as Council ships. Another drone approached it, this one programmed to mimic the behavior of the Void Scourge based on the data Kellamore had shared. The attack drone immediately targeted the first drone and destroyed it. "Now for ours," Gregory said. A third drone appeared on screen. This one carried Earth's new shielding technology. The attack drone passed by it without reacting, as if it couldn't see it. Laura let out a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. It works. In orbit above Earth, Admiral Eric Donovan inspected the first completed vessel of the Earth Defense Fleet. The U.S. Defender gleamed in the sunlight, its hull smooth and dark, absorbing light rather than reflecting it like Council ships. "She's beautiful," said his second-in-command, Captain Maria Vasquez. "And invisible to the Scourge, if Dr. Bennett is right," Eric added. "The Council would never believe we could do this so quickly," Maria said. Eric frowned. "The Council has been fighting the Scourge for decades without understanding it. We had to find another way." Meanwhile, in a secret facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Laura Bennett made a breakthrough. The Scourge isn't just attacking energy signatures, she told the emergency meeting of Earth's leaders. It's following mathematical principles. It's not a mindless force. It's a system, possibly artificial. Secretary Warren leaned forward. "Artificial? You mean someone created it? Or something," Laura replied. "These patterns are too precise to be natural." On the other side of the galaxy, the Galactic Council continued to lose worlds. Their fleets fought bravely, but could only slow the Scourge, not stop it. High Chancellor Envora pounded her fist on the table in the Council chamber. "Our outer defenses are failing. Where are the new weapons we were promised?" A small green alien bowed apologetically. "Production is behind schedule. The resource shortages." "I don't want excuses. I want results." Envora snapped. "What about Earth? Have we received any distress signals?" "Nothing, Chancellor. Our observation posts report increased activity in their system, but no signs of panic." Envora narrowed her eyes. "They're up to something. Send Officer Jolix to investigate." The Council spy ship entered Earth's solar system secretly, using stealth technology to avoid detection. Officer Jolix, a shapeshifter, infiltrated Earth's lunar base disguised as a maintenance worker. For weeks, he gathered information, expecting to find plans for mass evacuation or desperate weapons. Instead, he found something that shocked him. The humans weren't just building weapons. They were studying the Scourge itself, understanding it in ways the Council never had. In his private quarters, Jolix prepared his report for the Council. His fingers hesitated over the communications device. What he had discovered would change everything the Council thought they knew. "The humans aren't running," he wrote. "They're not even primarily focusing on fighting. They're solving the puzzle." Back on Earth, Admiral Donovan addressed the United Nations. "The fleet is ready. Our defense systems are in place." He paused. "But Dr. Bennett's team believes we may not need to fight at all." Secretary Warren nodded. "Then we proceed with Operation Walkaway. May we be right about this." Across Earth, people looked to the stars, not with fear, but with determination. They had chosen their path, away from the Council's shadow, toward their own solution. And the stars awaited their answer. The Grand Council chamber on Centralia Prime buzzed with angry voices. Representatives from 47 species argued as news of another fallen world reached them. The Viridian colony of Nextora, population 8 billion, was gone. High Chancellor Envora raised her hands for silence. Her normally blue skin had paled to a sickly gray from stress. "The Void Scourge has broken through our outer defenses," she announced. "At its current speed, it will reach the core worlds within 1 year." Panic rippled through the chamber. A tall bird-like alien named Krelon stepped forward. "What of the humans? Earth sits directly in the Scourge's path. Have they been destroyed?" Officer Jolix, recently returned from his spy mission, stood to address the council. "Our observation posts near Earth report something unusual," he said carefully. "Human activity in their system has decreased dramatically in recent weeks." "They've been destroyed already?" asked a counselor. "No," Jolix replied. "They appear to have left." Silence fell over the chamber. "Impossible," Envora said finally. "An entire species cannot simply vanish. Send a fleet to investigate." Commander Trelvac led the investigation fleet. His ship, the Sunfire, dropped out of faster-than-light travel near Pluto. 4 other council vessels flanked him. "Scan for human ships," Trelvac ordered. His sensor officer looked confused. "Commander, I'm not detecting any ships. Not even orbital stations." "That's impossible. Earth had hundreds of satellites and a growing defense fleet 2 months ago. They moved closer to Earth, passing Mars. The red planet showed signs of recent mining operations, but no active human presence." "Commander," the communications officer called. "We're receiving no transmissions. No radio, no quantum signals, nothing." When they reached Earth orbit, the mystery deepened. Cities stood intact below them. Roads, buildings, parks, all appeared undamaged. But no movement, no lights, no signs of life. "Land a scout team," Trelvac ordered. The scouts reported back an hour later, voices filled with disbelief. "The cities are empty, Commander. No bodies, no signs of battle. Personal items are gone. It's as if everyone packed up and left." Trelvac sent teams to check other cities, other continents. The result was always the same. Earth's population of 10 billion humans had vanished without a trace. "Check their data centers," he ordered. "Find out where they went." But the data centers had been wiped clean. Only a few files remained, seemingly left on purpose. Scientific data about the Void Scourge, but nothing about where humanity had gone. In the council chamber, Trelvac delivered his report to the stunned silence of the gathered representatives. "They evacuated their entire population," he concluded. "We found evidence of massive fleet operations, but no indication of where they went or how they moved so many people so quickly." "Cowards," spat a reptilian counselor. "They ran rather than fight." Envora was not convinced. The humans are many things, but not cowards. They discovered something about the Scourge that we missed. Before anyone could respond, an aide rushed into the chamber. "The Void Scourge has entered Earth's solar system." The council watched through remote probes as the dark mass of the Scourge approached Earth. It moved like a black cloud, consuming energy and matter. Council worlds in its path had been stripped to barren rock. Yet when it reached Earth, something unexpected happened. The Scourge simply passed by, continuing its course without touching the planet. "Impossible," whispered Envora. "The Scourge ignores Earth completely," said Jolix, remembering what he had seen in the human research labs. They knew this would happen. "But why leave then?" asked Krelon. "If they were safe." A cold feeling settled in Envora's stomach. "Because they aren't merely hiding. They're planning something." In that moment, the Galactic Council realized that humanity's disappearance was not an act of fear, but perhaps the opening move in a game none of them understood. The Council observation ships watched from a safe distance as the Void Scourge moved through Earth's solar system. The strange, dark mass flowed past Earth like water around a rock. It consumed some asteroids but left the planets untouched. "I don't understand," Commander Trelvac said, as he watched the screens on the Sunfire. "The Scourge has never passed by an inhabited world before. His science officer, Dr. Excel, studied the readings carefully. "Commander, look at this energy analysis. Earth shows almost no technological emissions now." "Of course not. The humans are gone." "No, it's more than that," Dr. Excel insisted. "Even an abandoned planet with leftover technology should emit some energy signatures. Earth is practically dark." Back on Centralia Prime, the Council scientists pored over the data from Earth. The mystery deepened when scout teams reported finding research facilities in Antarctica that had been overlooked in the first search. "Send a team immediately," ordered Envora. "Find out what they left behind." The Council team arrived at the Antarctic base 3 days later. Unlike the empty cities, this facility showed signs of recent activity. Lights still worked. Heating systems still ran. "Hello," called the team leader, Captain Rax. His voice echoed down empty hallways. A human voice answered from a nearby room. "In here." The Council team rushed forward, weapons ready. Inside a small laboratory, they found 2 humans. A woman and a man sat calmly at a desk, watching the aliens enter. "I'm Lisa Hoffman," the woman said. "This is Jack Reeves. We've been expecting you." "Where is the rest of your species?" demanded Captain Rax. Jack smiled slightly. "Safe, which is more than we can say for yours, if you don't start listening." The 2 humans were brought before the Galactic Council as the last known representatives of their species. They stood calmly in the center of the Grand Chamber as thousands of alien eyes watched them. "Explain yourselves," Envora demanded. "Where have your people gone?" "Before we answer that," Lisa said, "we need to explain what we discovered about the Void Scourge." She activated a small device she had brought with her. A hologram appeared, showing complex patterns of energy. "The Scourge is attracted to specific energy signatures," she explained. "The exact kinds of energy your technology produces." Jack continued. "We realized the Scourge wasn't attacking randomly. It follows these energy patterns like a predator follows a scent." The council chamber filled with murmurs of disbelief. "If this is true," said a counselor, "why did your people abandon their world if it was safe from the Scourge?" "We didn't flee in fear," Lisa said firmly. "We relocated strategically." On her device, she showed another hologram. This one displayed a map of the galaxy with the Scourge's path marked in red. "We tracked its pattern and predicted where it would go next," Jack explained. "We evacuated Earth not to run away, but to position ourselves to help." "Help how?" asked Envora, leaning forward with interest. "By developing technology that doesn't attract the Scourge," Lisa said. "By preparing safe havens. By getting ready to save those we can." Officer Jolix stepped forward. "Chancellor, this matches what I observed in their research facilities. They were studying the Scourge's behavior patterns, not just its destructive capabilities." "Why not share this knowledge with the Council?" asked Krelon. "Why leave us to face this alone?" Jack's face hardened. "We tried to warn you 5 years ago. Your diplomat Kellamore came to Earth, and we shared our initial findings." The Council dismissed them. "We needed time to develop our solution without interference," Lisa added. "And we needed to move our people before the Scourge arrived, in case we were wrong." Envora stood slowly. "And where is humanity now?" Lisa and Jack exchanged glances. "Scattered," Jack said finally. "In small groups across systems, the Scourge has already passed, or will never approach." "Waiting," Lisa added. "For the right moment to return." The council chamber fell silent as the full meaning of their words sank in. Humanity hadn't abandoned the galaxy. They had outmaneuvered the Scourge, and were positioning themselves to save what remained. 6 months passed since Lisa Hoffman and Jack Reeves revealed humanity's plan to the Galactic Council. During that time, the Void Scourge continued its advance through Council space. 3 more worlds fell. Billions more lives were lost. The Council remained divided on what to do about the humans' information. Some species wanted to adapt their technology, as Lisa and Jack suggested. Others refused to believe that humans had discovered something their scientists had missed for decades. Then, without warning, human ships appeared. They emerged near 10 different council worlds simultaneously. Not warships, but sleek vessels with strange hull designs that absorbed light rather than reflected it. The council defense fleets scrambled to intercept. On Centralia Prime, alarms blared through the council chamber. "Human vessels have entered council space," announced a security officer. "Are they attacking?" Envora demanded. "No, Chancellor. They're transmitting a message." The main screen in the chamber activated. A human woman in a gray uniform appeared. Her dark hair was pulled back tightly, her expression serious but not threatening. "Greetings, Galactic Council. I am Captain Olivia Rodriguez of the Earth vessel Horizon. We come in peace and with urgent purpose." Envora stepped forward. "Captain Rodriguez, your species abandoned known space without explanation. Your return is unexpected." "Not abandoned," Olivia corrected firmly. "Relocated, and now we've returned to offer help." Within hours, a human delegation arrived on Centralia Prime. Captain Rodriguez led them into the council chamber, where representatives from all council species had gathered. "Our scientists have confirmed what Lisa Hoffman and Jack Reeves told you," Olivia explained. "The void scourge is attracted to certain energy signatures your technology produces." She activated a holographic display showing the modified human ships. "We've developed technology that doesn't attract the scourge. We can help you modify your worlds, your ships, your stations." Many council members were skeptical. Some were openly hostile. "You left us to die," shouted a Viridian representative. "Billions of my people perished while you hid." Olivia stood her ground. "We needed time to perfect our solution. Would you rather we stayed and died alongside you, or left temporarily to find a way to save everyone?" A tall, blue-skinned Arcturian named Vexnar spoke up. "I believe the humans. My science division has been studying their theory since Hoffman and Reeves presented it. Their math is sound." "Even if it is," said Krelon, "why should we trust them now? They abandoned the galaxy when it needed them." "We never abandoned the galaxy," Olivia replied calmly. "We relocated our population to ensure our survival while we worked on a solution. Now we're back to share that solution." Envora raised her hand for silence. "Captain Rodriguez, let us say we believe you. What exactly do you propose?" "An alliance," Olivia said. "We help you modify your technology. You help us establish safe zones for refugees from worlds in the Scourge's path." The council debated for 3 days. Some species wanted nothing to do with the humans. Others saw them as their last hope. The debate grew heated, with old rivalries and prejudices coming to the surface. On the 4th day, Envora made her decision. "The council cannot reach consensus," she announced. "Therefore, I will not force all species to accept human help. Those who wish to join their effort may do so individually." 7 species immediately pledged to work with humanity. 12 more said they needed time to consider. The rest refused outright. As the council session ended, Olivia approached Envora privately. "This isn't the united response we hoped for," she said. Envora sighed. "The council has existed for 10,000 years. Change comes slowly." "The scourge doesn't move slowly," Olivia replied. "We'll help anyone willing to accept it." Later, aboard the Horizon, Olivia sent a message to Earth's scattered fleets. "Operation Reunion has begun. Phase 1 complete. Proceed to Phase 2. Across the galaxy, human ships changed course, heading toward the worlds that had accepted their help. Humanity had returned, not as conquerors, not as saviors, but as equals offering a hand to those willing to take it. As debate raged in the council chamber, 3 more worlds fell to the Void Scourge. Millions of refugees flooded toward the core systems. The council fleet struggled to evacuate even a fraction of the populations. In orbit around the doomed world of Proxima Tertius, a council evacuation ship captain watched in despair. His vessel was already overcrowded. Thousands more waited on the surface. The scourge would arrive in hours. "We can't take any more," he told his first officer. "We must leave now." Suddenly, new ships appeared in the system. They were sleek and dark, unlike any council design. Human ships. "This is Colonel Ryan Cooper of the Earth Vessel Sanctuary," came a transmission. "We're here to help with evacuation. We can take 50,000. More human ships arrived, each capable of carrying tens of thousands of refugees. They landed quickly, loaded people efficiently, and departed before the scourge arrived. News of the rescues spread quickly through council space. The 7 species that had allied with humanity shared their experiences. The humans were modifying their technology, teaching them how to become invisible to the scourge. On the Arcturian homeworld, Dr. Michelle Foster from Earth presented the full defense plan to selected council allies. "The first step is changing your energy systems," she explained to the gathered scientists and leaders. "The scourge is attracted to quantum fluctuations produced by your power cores." She showed them designs for new power systems based on human technology. "The second step is creating safe zones," she continued. "Worlds the scourge has already passed are safe. We can build there." An Arcturian scientist raised his hand. "How did your people discover this when our scientists couldn't?" "We've been studying the scourge for decades." Michelle smiled gently. "Sometimes it takes fresh eyes to see a pattern. Your scientists were looking for a way to destroy the scourge. Ours were trying to understand it." As the human-led coalition grew stronger, cracks appeared in the Galactic Council. More species broke away to join the humans, impressed by their successes. The Council's authority weakened. In an emergency session, the remaining council members faced an uncomfortable truth. "The humans have saved more lives in 1 month than our fleets have in a year," admitted a counselor. "But they're changing everything," protested another. 10,000 years of council tradition will mean nothing if we're all dead," Envora interrupted. Krelon, once skeptical of the humans, now stood to address the council. "I have visited their outposts, seen their technology. They don't seek to rule us or replace the council. They only want to stop the scourge." "Why?" demanded a reptilian counselor. "What do they gain?" "Survival," Envora answered simply. "The same as all of us." On the edge of council space, the Earth vessel Discovery faced the advancing scourge. Captain Andy Peterson watched the dark mass approach on his view screen. "Are we ready, Dr. Mitchell?" he asked his science officer. Dr. Kevin Mitchell nodded, his eyes fixed on his instruments. "The probe is armed and ready, Captain." "Launch when ready." A small probe shot from the Discovery toward the scourge. Unlike previous council weapons that tried to destroy the mass, this probe carried no weapons. It carried information. "Probe is transmitting," Dr. Mitchell reported. "The signal is penetrating the scourge's outer layer." For a tense minute, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the edge of the scourge began to change color, shifting from black to gray. "It's working," Dr. Mitchell exclaimed. "The scourge is responding to the signal." Captain Peterson allowed himself a small smile. "Contact Colonel Cooper. Tell him Phase 3 can begin." Across former council space, now divided between the Old Guard and the Human Coalition, the message spread. Humanity had not just found a way to hide from the scourge. They were finding a way to stop it completely. In her private chambers, Envora received the news with mixed emotions. Hope that the galaxy might be saved, and shame that it had taken an outsider species, one the Council had dismissed, to find the answer that had eluded them for so long. 1 year after humanity's return, the galaxy had changed dramatically. The advance of the Void Scourge had slowed, then stopped at the borders of systems protected by human technology. The remaining Council species, seeing the success of the human-led coalition, finally requested to join. On the newly established Joint Command Station Hope, representatives from all 47 species gathered. The old council chamber on Centralia Prime had been abandoned, a symbol of the past. Dr. Kevin Mitchell stood before the assembled representatives, his discovery finally complete. The void scourge is not a natural phenomenon, he explained. It's an ancient defense system created by a species long extinct. Murmurs filled the room as he continued. It was designed to target specific energy signatures, the same signatures that the ancient enemies of its creators used. By coincidence, the Council developed similar technology thousands of years later. And humanity did not, Envora said, understanding at last. Our technology took a different path, Kevin confirmed. That's why Earth was spared. But more importantly, once we understood what the scourge was, we could communicate with it. In a laboratory on the station, engineer Sandra Coleman made final adjustments to a device years in the making. Her hands moved carefully over the controls. The shutdown signal is ready, she told Admiral Donovan. If Dr. Mitchell is right, this will deactivate the scourge permanently. Admiral Donovan nodded. Let's hope he's right. The U.S. Vanguard leaves in 1 hour. The Vanguard, commanded by Captain Daniel Wells, was the largest ship humans had ever built. Its mission was to approach the heart of the scourge and deliver Sandra's signal. As the Vanguard prepared to depart, Captain Wells addressed his crew. What we do today isn't just for humanity. It's for every species in this galaxy. We walked away once to find a solution. Now we walk back in, together. The Vanguard traveled for 3 days to reach the center of the scourge. Council and human ships escorted it to the edge of the dark mass, then fell back to a safe distance. On the bridge, Captain Wells took a deep breath. Take us in. The Vanguard entered the scourge. Unlike Council ships that had tried before, it moved through the darkness untouched. At the center, they found what humanity had suspected, a small, ancient device, no larger than a car, pulsing with energy. Signal ready, Captain, reported his communications officer. Send it, Wells ordered. The Vanguard transmitted Sandra's carefully crafted message. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the ancient device flickered. Its pulsing slowed, then stopped. Across the galaxy, the void scourge began to dissipate. The black mass thinned, then vanished like morning fog under the sun. After decades of terror, the scourge was gone. When the Vanguard returned, celebrations erupted across every world. The ancient device was brought to Hope Station for study, a reminder of what had nearly destroyed them all. 1 month later, in the new Grand Chamber, Admiral Donovan and Chancellor Envora stood side by side to sign the new Galactic Charter. We nearly lost everything because we refused to listen, Envora said to the assembled representatives. Because we believed our way was the only way. And we nearly lost everything by walking away instead of working together sooner, Donovan added. Let's not make either mistake again. The first article of the new charter read, No species stands alone. The galaxy belongs to all, and all must have a voice. Later, at the celebration that followed, Lisa Hoffman found Envora standing alone, looking out at the stars. Do you think it will last? Envora asked. This new alliance. Lisa smiled. It will if we remember what we learned, that sometimes the best way forward isn't fighting or running away. It's understanding. Your people are strange, Envora said. You walked away when everyone expected you to stay and fight. You returned when no one expected you to come back. We're full of surprises, Lisa agreed. That's what makes us human. As they looked out at the stars together, ships from dozens of worlds passed by the station window, their lights twinkling against the darkness. Not council ships or human ships anymore, but the fleet of a united galaxy, one that had learned that sometimes the bravest thing to do was to walk away, and the wisest thing was to come back.